guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. Now exclusively on Spotify, powered by Anchor. And my name is Alec. I'm your host, and welcome to the show. If this is your first time listening to the show, then I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you do, go ahead and check out the other amazing episodes that we have here. If you have been listening to the show for quite some time now, I just want to say thank you. And I just want to say that I truly appreciate you and I honor you for being so committed in your growth, just learning. And that's exactly what we're doing here, trying to maybe get a concept, a story, a quote, an idea that could help us unlock our fullest potential. And so for this episode, I'm going to share with you something that I want to maybe remind all of you guys in case, there are certain moments in your life where you experience anxiety. And one thing that I have, one thing that I have learned in my life is that anxiety is not something that kind of just disappears after you've healed and you won't ever experience it again. No, it's not like that. Anxiety is like an emotion, just like fear, and it shows up from time to time, and I don't know anyone who is not experiencing it. Maybe, well, I know some people who are kind of so innocent to the world. Maybe babies and children don't get anxious, but I don't know anyone who's like an adult who doesn't experience anxiety. And maybe, and sorry, I wanted to check. Maybe it's something that's totally normal. Maybe it's something that we can all agree on, that we connect on, because that's a human experience. Experiencing anxiety is a human experience, and everyone experiences it. But there are people who have been, experiencing it to a higher and worse degree. But at the same time, it's something that we can totally manage. And so in this episode, I'm going to share with you 5 ways that can help you manage your anxiety. And so these are ways that I have also applied in my life. And this is the ways for me to overcome anxiety every single time anxiety comes and knocks on my door. So I want to start with the first one, which is mindful breathing. Okay, mindful breathing. And one of the things that I have learned when I'm experiencing anxiety is that I'm looking forward too much of the future. When I'm experiencing anxiety, I am maybe stuck or too obsessed with the future that I forget to become present. Okay? No, regret is for the past. Think too much of the past, you'll experience regret. Think too much of the future, you'll experience anxiety. And so for me, anxiety is just you and your mind and your state being in the future versus where you are right now. And so the main goal of you trying to overcome your anxiety is that you pull yourself back to the present moment and where you are right now. And so one way to do that is mindful breathing. Like, I always practice taking deep breaths. Like, if I find myself experiencing anxiety, maybe I take 10 deep breaths and, being mindful about it. Now, if you kind of notice it, we're all breathing. It's something that we do. If you're listening to this, I'm sure you're breathing as well. But at the same time, parang you kind of forget that you breathe, right? So it's something that just happens involuntarily. And one thing that I notice is we can become mindful around the things that we, that we do involuntarily even. And so that's the purpose of, doing mindful breathing. It's becoming aware of the present moment, which, most of the time we're not aware of. And so breath work is really something that's really important. What I do is I take 10 deep breaths, and at the same time, I just focus on, the inhales and the exhales that I do. And I focus on the sensation of the air that's coming into my body and exiting out my body. And so that's something that you can do as well. And I want you maybe we could do this exercise right now. No, maybe wherever you are, just take a pause, take a breather, maybe take a deep breath, inhale, and exhale. Maybe another one, inhale, and exhale. And do that, as much as you want, and then just become mindful of how it feels like. And that's you becoming mindful of your breath. And now you're grounded to the present moment. Because that's the pause that will allow you to go back to the present moment and not worry too much about the future. So that's the first one, right? Mindful breathing. The second one is gratitude practice. Again, maybe the worries from the future, the anxiety from the future is coming from the lack that you think that you have, right? It's the lack of something. It's the lack of money. It's the lack of solutions. It's the lack of love. It's always coming from the lack. Now, how to counter that? One thing that I do know is that where energy goes, where attention goes, energy flows. And what you put energy on expands. And so if you focus on what lacks, that's what's going to keep on happening in your life. If you focus on, let's say, I don't have money, well, the universe will show you ways and proofs that you don't have money, right? So what you're focusing on expands. And so the counter to that, the method to overcome that is, and anxiety comes from lack, by the way. Anxiety comes from you don't know something, you're not clear with something, you don't have something, you're not something, and you want it to be a particular way, but you don't have control over the future. That's anxiety. But the way to counter that is now, but if you focus on your anxiety will grow. If you focus on your worries will grow. And so countering that with gratitude. What are the things that you're grateful for? Because now, when you are focusing on what you have, you'll have more of what you have. If you're focusing on your blessings, you'll have more blessings. If you're focusing on the things that you are grateful for, then your heart and the universe will fill you up with more things that you are grateful for. Again, it would just find evidence of what you are focusing on is real, and it would produce more of that. So that's the second one, gratitude practice. And maybe, after this session, or maybe when you're experiencing anxiety, write down the things that you're grateful for, like 5 things that you're grateful for. It can be the smallest, tiniest bit, or maybe it's the big major wins that you have in your life. Just write it down and be thankful for it. Just say the words thank you. Okay. One thing that I experience is every single day I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for, because I want to start my day off with wins. And so that's one way that I do that. Okay. The third is, of course, physical exercise. Of course, this is a no-brainer. If you want to become better, if you want to take care of your mental health, it starts with your physical health. And physical health, the best way to do that is, of course, movement. aside from diet, movement is the key. If you do exercise, you release endorphins that make you feel good about yourself, and therefore kind of overcome the fear hormones, anxiety hormones that is in your body. And so physical exercise, just any kind of movement will help you out. Like, for example, walking. Okay, I have not been a fan of walking until recently, but it turns out it's the easiest way to actually overcome your anxiety. If I feel anxious, I just take a breath and I walk. And I just noticed what I'm seeing when I walk. I don't think about anything. I just be there while I'm walking. And at the same time, I'm burning calories, right? Of course, who doesn't want to burn more calories? And so as simple as walking can literally overcome your anxiety. And, if you do this on a regular pattern, maybe yoga can also help, because when you do yoga, it kind of infuses with meditation and breathing practices. So that's great as well. But anything that helps you move, okay, that's really, really helpful. The fourth one is, of course, journaling. Writing down your thoughts is a way to express yourself. And that's a way to release the anxiety that's inside of you. One thing that I do know is that when people are overwhelmed with the anxiety or they're experiencing panic attacks, it just means that their mind is full. And one way to deal with that and to overcome that is, of course, is to release some of the pressure that's inside your head. And one thing that I find very helpful is journaling, writing things down. It doesn't need to make sense. It doesn't matter what you write, as long as you write it down. Whatever your thoughts are, whatever you are feeling, thinking, and worrying about, just write it down. Why? Because if you write it down, now it's completely separate from you. It's not in your system anymore. You can see it. It's on paper. Now you can just see it. And it's one thing that I, again, realize is that most of the time, it's not as bad as we think. It's not as bad as we think. And if we just write it down, we'll see that it's much simpler than we assume, how bad it was. So write it down. Journal. Okay. How do I journal? Well, I start with anything that's just really on my mind, just kind of talking to myself. That's how I start. And then my intentions for the day, maybe some things that I want to accomplish, that I want to step into, they want to become for the day, and just for the day. And then I write the things that I'm grateful for. Like, that's all I need to do. Okay. At the same time, I plan my day ahead to make sure that I don't have any extra time. Because if I have extra time, that's when the enemy of the mind kind of captures your beingness, if that makes sense. Okay. And so the last one is something that I would highly, highly recommend to everyone. It's meditation. Okay. It's not as the same with mindful breathing. Mindful breathing is you can do it wherever, when you're cooking, when you're maybe even you're driving, of course, pull yourself to the side. When you're walking, you can do that. But meditation, like sitting down and then closing your eyes and just being there with your thoughts and allowing your thoughts to just pass by, giving yourself time to break that thought of, it's going to last forever, because it's not going to last forever. Your thoughts are not facts. Your thoughts are just opinions, projections based on the past, which means that it's not going to happen the way that you ever expect it to happen. And so meditation allows you to just sit down and break off your ego of, trying to know what's going to happen next, and just allowing yourself to be in the present moment and allowing yourself to just be and not try. Yeah. And I have been doing meditation since last year. I think it was October or June last year. Wow, it's almost a year of me doing meditation. Crazy. Single-handedly changed my life. Up until today, earlier, I did my 1 hour meditation. Super helpful. Helps my mind become more clear. I'm not angry at a lot of things anymore. That's the craziest part, by the way. But yeah, a lot more control, a lot more trust, a lot more surrender in the sense that the present is okay and all is well. Everything is going to be fine. Meditation allows me to do that. And so that's it for this episode. I hope that you enjoyed this one. Those are the 5 ways to overcome anxiety. Again, that's mindful breathing, gratitude practice, physical exercise. 4th is journaling. And 5th is, of course, meditation. And so that's all for this episode. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you do, go ahead and check out the other amazing episodes. And make sure that you share this episode. Give it a thumb. Don't forget to tag me at Alec on Instagram. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't, then let me know what you don't like about it, and I'll create more episodes that you would like. And so, yeah, send me a message. I love reading your messages. And maybe also, I'm planning to have a live event on June, every month, starting from June. And it's going to be one Saturday night where we would just gather with same like-minded people. If you're in the metro, I hope that you can come. It's gonna be the start of something new, the start of something amazing, because I miss doing talks online, and I hope that I could see you guys there. So make sure that you check out the description box for more details about the live events, and I hope that I can see you very, very soon. Thank you so much. My name is Alec. This is Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. Now exclusively on Spotify. Thank you so much. Always remember that you are loved, you are more than enough, and you are worthy of love. See you next episode. Peace.